Back with another episode of Keeping Current with Kansas City. This is a little different again. This is Stabell with KC Soccer Journal. With me is Daniel Sperry from the KC Star, my normal co-host. But we also have uh, the fill-in host from last week with Carrie Robinson from the KC Soccer Journal and other stuff. She's everywhere, it seems like lately. So, Carrie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Nice to see you. Long time no see.
I know,
It's
and
it's
for
been
full
10
disclosure,
minutes.
yeah, we actually just recorded another pod. This is like the third pod for Carrie tonight, so she's not getting anything done besides talk.
That's fine. That's all I need to do in life, really. Is talk and I'll be happy.
Let's well, talk soccer is a lot of it. So, all right, Casey Current off of a 2-0 win in San Diego. Uh, Penalty and a goal, straight regular goal. A penalty is a goal, but regular goal from
Well, they're all
Debinha.
they're all goals. They count.
Yeah, they count. Um, and a penalty from Sele Queen Lolobanta.
Yes.
Another game where they come out scoring early and then just shut the other team down for the second half. Is this going to be the modus operandi for the rest of the season, you think?
I think until maybe another team disrupts it. Um, I think like going back to the Washington game, the Current pushed in the second half because they had to because they didn't finish their chances in the first half. And that's the only time that they haven't scored in the first half and only time that they scored in the second half. So I think like yes, I think the Current want to get that lead and push themselves out and use those moments where they kind of go all out, full exertion of press and energy and creation and stuff, and then they want to exude control over the game. They're not really running up the score. They don't need to score a ton of goals because the defense is holding strong. And so, until a team can disrupt that, that's going to be like, and it might be until they play Orlando that some team kind of disrupts that rhythm. But they are in such strong control of games mentally, physically, and tactically. They put themselves in the right spot at all moments. And so I won't be surprised if we see a few more games that end up like this.
I know you didn't get to see it live, Carrie, but what did any get impressions that you have had of the game?
I mean, as I was telling you guys earlier, I was at we'll call it a concert, per se, but my sister and I did not know as many songs as we did, as we thought we would going into it. So whenever I got the notifications that we scored on my watch, my sister and I like cheered like we knew the song, even though we didn't.
That's great.
So it was a fun game. I did go back to see if Labonta had a Sally, which she did a small one, which was kind of surprising at an away location, but seemed like a fun game. I kept getting notifications that it was a save by Lorena, another save by Lorena. So it, from someone that didn't watch it and only got notifications, it seemed like it was very defense heavy that second half. Again, as Spirit kind of talked about how we kind of like just blocked for the rest of that. It felt I don't know, I guess it's kind of from hearing that it's a little bit more surprising to hear that we weren't as attacking as much. Um, but then again, it makes sense with as many notifications that I got that there was a save here, a save there, a save here.
It didn't even feel like they got that many chances, though. I mean, they saves are saves, but they're. It didn't feel like they were. I didn't feel like San Diego was getting all that many chances,
Yeah.
or at least dangerous chances.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have anything from the eighth minute until the 64th minute. So that means the Current kept them off the shot counter for 50 plus, which is just really impressive. Again, another game where they've done that, right? We've talked about this against Washington. We didn't go into depth about this with Utah because I still think Utah was getting shots off over the run of play, even when the Current were kind of dominating them, and it was their own openness that the Current exploited. But for the Wave, yes, from the 65th minute on, they made a couple of tactical changes. There was a sub or two that changed the way things were set up in there, and they got a little bit more numbers forward. And Jonas Seidval, who is a good manager with not a great group of players, he started getting some chances there. But in looking at this unexpected goals, even just unexpected goals, there was only one chance that was worth more than zero point 0.1 expected goals. And in the post-shot expected goals, which we've talked about in the past, measures like the likelihood that a goalkeeper saves the shot. So the shot has to be on target for it to matter. There was only, again, three of the one, two, three, four, seven shots in the second half were actually over a zero point 0.1 post-shot expected goals. The best save of the game was for sure that 72nd minute stop on Adriana Leon. Leon's in on goal, just has a quick, easy tap in, and it's a brilliant kick save from Lorena. Did she stand tall and strong in that moment? Yes, she wasn't like, oh my gosh, she's keeping everything out. Most of the saves were routine, which
Yeah.
again goes to the point of the control, I think, for me at least, just in the fact that like the chances that they're getting are readable. She only had to make like two true diving saves, and one of them, the shot from Cascarino, was a shot on target, but it was from 30 yards out, and it was nowhere near the type of shot that she scored with in Kansas City last year. So everything was manageable. It was readable moments. They're the type of chances that the Current want to have, like see other teams get, except for that Adriana Leon one. I think that's the moment. That's been the biggest thing for me with Lorena. And I'll get off my soapbox here on her for pretty quickly, but just like when she is truly called upon in the big moment, you think of the header save off the line in Washington. There was a couple, the save against Utah that was, or in the first game, the shot looks like Portland, right? It was a shot I think from it's from Castellanos. Looks like it's going top bins. If she doesn't get to it, she makes the save.
Yeah.
This save against Leon, when she needs to make the save, she makes it every single time. And even if she's not getting a lot of action, and so I think that's just the really impressive thing about her game so far, is how locked in she is throughout games, and that's why you get a goalkeeper. Do they make the saves when needed? And yes, so far she's been doing that.
And you're right. The save on Adriana was a really good save, the kick save. But just continuing to say what you were saying though, is that's part of having a good defense and how they've been able to control and limit opportunities. Yeah, you can always take a shot. I mean, any team can take a shot. I mean, Sporting could have taken a shot in the second half of their game and maybe, made a keeper make a save, but it would have been a routine, easy catch. So that's what pretty much all of those were. And so that's you can take a shot from way out there, but it's really pointless.
Yeah. Briefly again, going back to the data on that, like three of their seven shots in the second half from San Diego were inside the 18-yard box, and four of them were inside 25 yards. So three of their shots were 29, 31, and 30 yards out from goal. And really, there's only one shot inside 10 yards from goal too. So again, you're just looking at that the way that they're set up, the chances that they like you'll hear this too, even from my goalkeepers when they talk about it. Tim Meal used to talk about this of like the defense is forcing them into the predictable situation and the predictable shot
Yep.
that Melia can save, and so it's an easy save for him because he knows there's only one space that this shot can get to, and I'm going to be there before the ball. And so
And
that's
you can see the shot.
you can see the shot the whole way, right? Like that,
Yep.
those are the types of shooting windows that you leave open for an opponent, and those kinds of things. So until a team can disrupt that control over everything that the current back line has, the midfield has, you're just going to see more and more of this, I think.
When I played and I was a defender, I would always talk to my goalies and say, "This is the angle. When I'm at this spot, I'm going to let them shoot. You have to make this save." Okay. I will not let them shoot straight down the middle. When I get them over to this
Mhm.
spot, you have a very tight angle. They will think they have a shot. You make that save.
Mhm.
Period. And that's what exactly the current is doing to these people. They
Yep.
don't have but one very tiny little chance in the first half because the current controlled the game. They had a few chances in the second half because the current controlled the game.
Mhm.
What do you think, Carrie?
I mean, I mean, you can even see that with I mean, they've played 4 games, 3 against good teams, and there's only been one goal taken, and that was honestly kind of not a fluky one, but it was just kind of a weird one for the current to get set up, and that
It
was
was a pretty
Olivia
spectacular shot.
Moultrie. Yeah.
It was a good shot for Moultrie. Yeah, she
Yeah.
placed it well. Moultrie too this year. Like you can go through. I was looking through like the league leaders database. She's up there in a lot of categories. She's having a very, very good year for Portland. So
There's a reason they went and got her when she was a little kid. So,
yeah,
all right. What else from that game? I mean, I know you want to talk about Debinha. You have been anxious to talk about Debinha. I know you're going to write an article about Debinha at some point in the near future. So this is your opportunity to spoil your own article.
opportunity. I just think like it's been the like she the goal puts her at 50 career regular season goals in the NWSL, and she's one of five in the 50 and 25 category in NWSL history. And it's Lynn Biondolo now William now Biondolo, previously Williams. Uh, who else was it? Alex Morgan. There was a couple more. It's somewhere in an article that I wrote.
Was Sam Kerr?
Um,
Was Sam Kerr one?
It was not Sam Kerr. The other name kind of surprised me, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. So, um, sorry. I'd have to go back to my game story from the weekend, and I'll quickly pull it up. But I think just the what we see from Debinha has been like last year she was up in the league very high for like shot creating actions per 90 minutes played. She wasn't playing a whole lot of 90 minutes though. This year again she's tied at the top for shot creating actions per in total and per 90 minutes, and she's tied at the top with 23 of those in with Olivia Moultrie, who I was just talking about. So we're talking about a player that's creating all kinds of shots. She's averaging a goal creating action, either by goal or assist per game as well. So like being able to see the end product from Debinha has been the big shift for me this year. Not only is the health early on in the season helps, right? But just the end product that we've got from Debinha, the goal that she takes down is perfect. She recognizes that the run is dropping the line of the San Diego Wave. She peels back into a pocket of space by the penalty spot. Izzy Rodriguez's cross is perfect in that moment. And as usual, Deb's first touch is perfect. And she side volleys it into a spot through traffic that Caitlin Sheridan was never going to get to. And it's like those high quality moments of execution weren't coming off last year because she wasn't in a rhythm, she wasn't healthy, and even Vlaco mentioned this here. She just seems so much happier this year. Like she's just in a great mood in herself, and that's also kind of how I felt watching Deb early on in the season in 2023. Even though that team ended up terrible, Debinha was awesome all year long for that team and spectacular moments every single game. Um, and but like this time she has the cast around her to like do it all and make those goals happen when she makes the pass or make those shots and creates those chances and all that kind of stuff. So it's just been really cool again to see. Like I keep waiting for like, is there gonna be a game where you're just like, they probably need to bring someone else on to try something. And I felt that a lot last year. Or like maybe okay, or maybe it's better to bring her off the bench. Um, she looks like a player you can't take off the field right now,
I mean,
and that's been a blast.
she's been looking more like what a lot of people around the league are calling a prime Debinha back when she was with the North Carolina Courage. I mean, like you said, that first year that we had her, the team just wasn't good. She was like had MVP um, status for end of year awards, but then last year just something didn't break through with her. I mean, the rest of the team was good, and she just kind of got lost within all of that. And then this year, of course, she's good. The team's looking good. Prime Deb is kind of coming back to surface.
Yeah. Do you remember that comment, Thad, when we were interviewing Sean Nahas after the Summer Cup semifinal here?
Yeah.
And Debinha had a really good game in that game, but we didn't really see it. We saw glimpses. We were seeing glimpses of prime Debinha, and he said like if she ever gets back to being the Debinha that I know, the rest of the league is screwed with how this team is because you can't stop Chewinga. Yeah, and if she's pulling the strings and now everything becomes unpredictable, you're done for. And that's kind of what we're experiencing so far this year.
Uh, while you were talking, I was just kind of like looking, pulling up stats and stuff just for fun. And so I pulled up all the NWSL players and just I sorted by XG for no reason other than I could. And it just kind of stands out. You got Tim Wow with 4.2. You got Barbara Banda with 2.3, but they're right there with goals and everything else. And then a little bit farther down the list, not very much farther down, because again, sorted by XG, is Marta and Debinha. It's like the current and the pride are pretty much just set up to be parallel teams that are going to be at the top in battle for supremacy at the end of the year.
Yeah. Um, Pulled up the stat. So it's Lynn Biondolo, previously Williams, Alex Morgan, Jess, Jessica McDonald, and Megan Rapinoe are and Debinha are now the five players in NWSL history to record 50 and 25.
Huh.
Pretty darn good, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
That North
It's
Carolina team back in
Had like
the
all of those
late
players except
2010s,
for
yeah, that was
Rapinoe and Morgan.
crazy. Yes, that was crazy times.
Ugh,
yeah, it's more fun now though because you have three or four teams at the top that are all good.
that are in that category. Yeah, I know. I think it was Chad that asked after the game, Chad Smith, that asked after the game something about like paying attention to Portland or not, or not Portland to Orlando. If you know that seeing them neck and neck, there's literally one goal that separates them in terms of goal differential and goals scored, goals against totals this whole season. Both teams are perfect. Both teams have only given up one goal. Orlando's only scored one more goal than the current.
Yep.
And I think like, the current's response, like, we're not worried about them yet, I think is like true because at some point you can't control what they do. Like you just got to control you and keep doing the best that you can. And if they're still there at the top when you guys come and meet face to face, all right, then that's where you worry about them. But I'm just so like I think Thad and I talked about this in the preseason too. Like it's going to be the current Orlando and Washington. Who else is going to step
Washington.
up to the pack? Washington, as
Yes,
Thad says.
Washington.
Who else is going to step up to the pack? And that's been the thing that, like, right now, it just feels like a two-horse race. Even as decent as Washington is, it feels like a two-horse race.
It it does. And while Orlando does have one more goal than Kansas City does at this point, a lot of that came from that one 6-0 game in the
Hmm.
first game of the season against
Yep.
Chicago. So uh,
Yep.
if they keep up the averages, the current will catch them or pass them at some point,
Correct. And I think
probably.
probably. And the current, like Orlando was not a high scoring team last year. Even with Barba Banda being phenomenal, they were usually a team that won games 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. Like they they got the job done in all facets of the game, and they were just incredibly difficult to play against. But they weren't an offensive juggernaut. That was the current. So I'm sure that, as you're right, that goal total will probably flip at some point. But
Yeah, and Orlando's only given up one goal. It was to San Diego, but
mhm,
in Orlando. So it's a pretty it's kind of funny because both teams have only given up one goal. Both of them are giving up that goal at home. It's just they parallel each other in so many ways. So let's. I would almost anticipate them meeting in the final, but I kind of anticipated that last year too. So
we didn't get it. We got
no,
them in the round before. The championship game before the championship game. Um, so Michelle Cooper,
that
big
was one of
point.
the big stories out of there.
One of the big stories out of this game. Thad, what was our update that we got?
She was better than what they first anticipated. It's an ankle. She could be back. They'll test on Thursday, so she could be back for this weekend and available in some fashion. Probably,
I'm gonna err on the side of no. I'd be
Yes.
surprised, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see her questionable on Friday too, just to game up the injury report. Um,
I wouldn't be surprised if she was out doing some form of training,
yeah.
but not that we'll see it because they don't let us have that many availabilities.
Nor do we get to see them kick a ball.
No.
She was catching some strays from her team on Instagram. I think the Premier League had a picture of a guy that rolled his ankle pretty badly, and they said, "Who is this?" And I think it was either Feist or
Uh,
one of the other blondes. There's so many blondes on that team. Said it could be Michelle Cooper. So,
yes, I did see that. That was a good one. Yes.
so
Yeah,
I'm from that and that alone, I'm not that worried about it.
yeah. I think long term there shouldn't be a worry.
Right.
Um, it's probably good to not jump to conclusions about severity of injuries. It didn't look great, but I also don't think it looked like a season ender either.
No.
Like from the replay, like you think unless she had broken a bone in there, and it didn't look like she had broken a bone, they were not trying to immediately stabilize. It if they wouldn't have if there was something serious, they wouldn't let her try and walk and hobble off her own power. She didn't seem like they. It didn't seem like you remember when Claire Lavage tore her ACL, they literally picked her up and carried her off the field. They were
Right.
out of there. Same with Alex Loetta when she tore her ACL at CPKC last year. Like they immediately were putting her leg into a brace. So I think
But players are different. So I mean, and some injuries are different. So
some are
you
different. It
you
can be possible,
you know,
but
I know people who have played on with a broken foot. We know people with a torn MCL, ACL, in Dembele,
yeah, yeah,
right? So I mean, finished out games. It's not saying that one is weaker or wussier or whatever than the other. It's just that's life. It depends on how it happens and all that type of stuff. So
yeah.
I just, on the same side, I don't want to err as it's not so severe. I don't want to be like, oh my God, they've torn
Right.
something when it looked like a rolled ankle. But
Yeah,
the flip side of it is we don't really know until
yeah,
they come back and say, yes, they'll
yeah,
be out longer than expected or not. And I'm pretty sure if it was something worse, Blanco would have said, it'll be a while. He wouldn't have
yeah.
said,
It would have been, we'll be without her for a little bit, but it's just another opportunity for someone else on the team to step up
yeah,
and blah 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 blah. And we have, I'm thankful we have a really deep team to. Thank
yeah.
you
So
so much to GM Caitlin Carducci for putting together the team for
yeah, we
us
can
that
yeah we can weather the storm and ride the wave, go with the flow, whatever. Yes, we could write this. We could write the quotes, man. I've known Blanco long enough. I used I did have a an assistant coach with a team tell like when he was there giving his things, he would say, "Just write it. Let me know what I said." I'm like, okay.
gosh, not great. Uh, wait till that surprise comes in. You said what?
uh, he
No, you
trusted
said
me.
it. You said it.
He trusted me because he knew I wouldn't throw him under the bus.
Correct.
Um,
Um,
However, so let's go with the Michelle will be out this weekend. Let's just say she'll be out this weekend because I we both probably think that's the case. If she is there, I would assume she gets very limited time or not at all. Who do you start in her place?
Uh,
Carrie, he pointed at
sorry.
you.
Sorry. I was looking off at the roster. I was getting it ready. Um, I mean, I'm probably throwing in Bia into that midfield and then putting Prince Morale on Cooper's position.
Interesting. I I I'm just looking up the Dash roster at the moment. Um, you've got a 3-4-3 that they've been running under Fabrice Gautreau. Their wings have been Yasmin Ryan and Delaney Sheehan, and that side of the attack that's going to be attacking the right hand side is going to be Barb Oliveri at the wing back with Delaney on that side. To me, I think you put Ellie Wheeler there and play Wheeler as like a right wing, but then make her a little bit more subdued. You put Temwa up high, Izzy up high, shift underneath. You put Haley Mace at right back, play out of the back with three like they did last year, and then you have Debinha underneath Bia and Temwa, and that three triangle. So it'll line up as a 4-3-3, but then de facto plays out of the back as a 3-5-2, defend in a 4-4-2. And because Debinha will then drop and press on the left hand side. How do we like that? Did I throw out too much stuff theoretically or like to help envision that, or does that make sense? So this is what the change that I would make. I'd keep everyone the same. Either maybe start Bia over Nichelle if possible, but for sure, right wing for me is Ellie Wheeler, and then the right back is Haley Mace. But in possession, Haley Mace is going to shift in as the third center back, so the right center back in a back three, and Ellie Wheeler will not be as high of a winger as Michelle Cooper was, and she'll be more withdrawn and almost be like a right mid slash right wing back in kind of an off kilter 3-5-2 setup, how they did multiple times last year. I could see it.
Yeah, and then if you need to rest or pull off Izzy or Haley, you drop Ellie back and put somebody else into that spot, which
Yep.
is not.
Or you put Elizabeth Ball back into that spot because she has functioned as that right back slash
She has.
right center back in the past for them in games. So, and again in big games too. So if she's healthy, it could be a shot.
Well, thanks to Caitlin Carducci, they have a lot of options.
Okay, Vlaco. I will say Caitlin is like we joke about this, but Caitlin's done a phenomenal job with the roster. So
Yes,
we're not in any way trying to be patronizing. We're just more making fun of what that we know that exactly what Vlaco will say.
yes, and they both work together, but Caitlin has done a great job with in combination with Locko to clean up that roster last year when they were going to be in a cap hit situation and cleaning that up and getting to a point where they could bring in even more players.
Mhm.
And then Vlaco could throw a wild card out there and bring in Marta or somebody else, but we haven't really seen much of her, so I doubt that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always the wild card option. Maybe not changing anything and just put it like doing like Carrie said. Make Nichelle Prince your right wing. Start Bia. Let's go.
I do
What's
want to see
more
Super
Bia get some time.
option.
what what's a higher likelihood? Mary Long starts or they run Nichelle Prince as the right winger.
Michelle.
Thank you. Just throwing
Although,
we could see weird things, man. It's
I
Houston.
was ready. I was ready for the other like I don't know weird option of like they throw Jericho out there.
Would like to see Jericho more.
yes, but they probably need to.
There are some players that I would like to see more. Not just Jericho.
Yeah.
And not for the sake of like, oh, other players are doing bad. Just would like to see
Just to
them.
see.
Another option that we didn't mention is Haley Hopkins.
Yeah.
She could get the start and then bring in Bia later
Hmm.
um, as an option or Nichelle later.
Hmm.
Um, I was trying to think through the midfield because you can also um, move Vanessa up to that kind of withdrawn forward kind of thing because she didn't
Hmm.
start this last game,
Yeah.
and play Feist or somebody else in the middle. So I mean, they have a ton of options thanks to Caitlin Carducci. Um, it's gonna have to be a running joke now again, but
Yeah. This is interesting though. The way I'm just looking at this Houston lineup. Sorry, this last Houston lineup. The way that this is, yes, this says they started out as a 3-5-2, but like personnel wise, this absolutely could have been like a 4-3-3 from them anyways. So um, just found it interesting because they've got Here it lists Barb Oliveri as the left wing back, but in reality, she's probably going to be a center mid because that's where she's played most of her life, or in the attack as a winger. So it's just interesting. Kristen Westfall has listed as their right mid, but she's a fullback pretty exclusively. And Maggie Graham is also kind of a left wing back type of player that they have that's playing as their left center back. So again, a little bit of a subterfuge with formations and reality of what they're actually building out as or playing as. If they are truly playing as a back three, do you want higher wingers to find in that space? Then maybe you don't do Ellie Wheeler on that side to be in that space behind the fullback. You know, there are things like that that will be at play. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, and that's obviously they will take time to watch all the video of all the games they've had so far, where I'm not going to dive into Houston that much. That's
Uh,
not my forte there at the moment. We'll assign that to Carrie for the next pod.
yes. Who's next for the current? When Carrie comes in next time, she's got to have I need a fully fledged scouting report on the opponent.
Yes, Vlaco's actually going to listen to this and think that I need to join their team because of how in depth they'll be.
Uh,
Vlaco might listen to this, just saying,
he does
Hello,
listen to some of these.
on occasion.
hello, big fan. So is my dad.
Uh, he's commented before on some local pods, and so there's been a few times I've sent him a link to these just, and he complimented the pod about how we had a little more knowledge than some of the other ones. But there's days when I don't feel like we did a great pod, and I make sure I don't send him those.
Or if we criticize him, don't send him that. All right, so next week, Carrie, I need a fully fledged scouting report on the winless North Carolina Courage, unless they win this week.
Where they play this week? I should know this.
That's a great question. They play Bay
Bay.
FC. Oh,
Okay,
Jeff
well,
Jeff Houston's squad. Jeff Houston, what you got for him? You gonna beat Bay, or you gonna beat North Carolina?
It's this is the nice thing about early in the season. It's like, oh yeah, BFC is like way better than North Carolina, but it's 1-2-1 team versus a 0-2-2 team. It's just one damn game difference.
I mean, everyone's making fun of Bay right now for losing to Chicago. So,
Which was interesting. The goals were very good from Chicago, but yeah, AFC struggled at home out of that one. Um, Gotta ask Jeff what's wrong in San Jose or Santa Clara, wherever the heck they are. It all runs together out there.
And I know North Carolina's had a lot of problems with players leaving and some other stuff going on and all that stuff. It just feels very weird to have them at 13th of a 14 team league.
Mhm.
I mean, even when they were not good, they were sixth.
Yeah,
All
and they
right.
have not. They've had well, outside of Gotham, they've had a schedule that they should be able to do much better with. Louisville, Seattle, Portland, and Gotham, and they have no wins. Not great.
Not the best. All right. Any other KC current news? KC current 2, they announced a preseason or a friendly, a non-competitive schedule where they play 3 away games, which is
Hmm.
going to be a bunch of college and high school kids. But now they're going to put a team into TST,
Yeah,
and I can't believe that that will just be a bunch of college kids.
well, they said a roster should be dropping soon for that one. I would like to think that they're two separate things still.
yeah,
Yeah, but it did say they were both coached by Vasil, though. Vasil Ristov.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Because I
Because,
couldn't imagine a college kid, I don't know, just some playing against like Heather O'Reilly for North Carolina.
Why not?
yeah, I mean,
Why not?
I love
We've
Heather,
got
but
we've
she's
got
old.
Nani, we've got Luis Nani playing against dudes who play for the Comets on the men's side. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, we could do it. Have some fun.
I don't think we have enough money to put in the uh, entrance bid, though.
I'm gonna raise some money to Shades of Blue TST team and see if we can break the all-time record for worst goal differential.
Who are we gonna have in goal, man? Or Mike Coon?
Mike Coon. It's gonna be Mike. Bring the
I
gloves, buddy.
know he was an actual goalie, and then he never goes in goal on like media games and shit. Like, dude, go in, man. He's like, no, they said they'd do it, and I'm like, yeah, but they're a media guy. They don't know anything. Go play
They're
goal.
they're Aaron Ladd. They're gonna pick the ball up outside of the box.
Yeah, my God.
Okay.
All right. Anything other than Casey Current 2 news? Other update. Did ask about Gabrielle Robinson and Pfeiffer, and he gave because Robinson's been doing some training. We've seen her out there before,
Yeah, but not like in a unrestricted sense, and that's kind of where we're at now.
but he kind of labeled them both as they're both in training, and we'll get them in, and like 8 weeks later we'll see them, something like that. Like, which I think that just means whenever they have a window to make moves again.
Yeah.
I guess they could cut somebody when they needed to make an opening, but
I got a point though with this that you're not really the roster that they have, you're probably not just outright releasing some of the players that they would need to move to create like roster stuff. Like they're players you can go trade for and get some sort of asset back. Whether it be the cash thing, whether it be a draft pick, well, no more draft picks, sorry.
yeah.
Whether it be international slots or something like that, like or money to go buy an international slot even though they have them open. I don't know. Like there's ways to offload things, and trust me, there are teams in this league who need better players than what they have. And the current have a lot of really good players that they could potentially do that with.
So you're like calling out Utah, North Carolina? What?
Bay.
Yeah. There are some bad teams in this league. This is more and more striated, the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah, very true. It's just nice to be on a team that is a have for a change.
I was about to say it's a reflection of society, and sounds about right. But we'll leave it at there. That's it for borderline political, philosophical thoughts on this podcast today.
All right. So I did this to Carrie last pod. Any non-political prophetic thoughts, Mr. Sperry? Or hold it. You want to jump in, Carrie? You want to do anything? You want to like say anything else?
No, that's okay. I don't want to mess up like I did last time.
All right, Sperry, you're up. Anything prophetic? Wait, wait, wait,
Um,
wait, 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 wait. One more time. How's the fam? Because
oh, yes. We
is
did just gloss over the fact that I had a child, which is why we had Carrie filling in as a host for a couple of weeks.
yes.
Um, but yes, I mean, I did not have the child. No, everything is going good. For those of you who didn't see it on social media, my wife and we had our second child 2 weeks ago. The day that Sporting fired Peter Vermees also happened to be the day that my daughter was brought into the world. The most chaotic combination of personal and work life in one day, and I completely ignored work life for very good reasons. So yeah, we had an emergency C-section on the 31st of March. Um, we were almost 7 weeks early. So she was born at 33 weeks old, just 4 pounds 2 ounces, but she's doing phenomenal. She's almost 5 pounds as of today. She's about 4 pounds 13 ounces. We're gaining weight. We don't have any oxygen support. We're on our way out of there sometime within the next week and a half or so, probably at the latest. And so we're really grateful that everybody's recovering very well. And sooner or later, we will get to bring her home. For now, I get to sleep at night. That will change very soon. But yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, tough couple of weeks, and a lot of really good, beautiful moments. So my philosophical thought is just cherish the moments of humanity that you have with your people because they're awesome and that's what matters the most.
And this week I got to buy my daughter legally a drink.
There you go. I've got 21 more years for that to happen. So at least for this one,
All right.
She'll be in the
series not
culture
in
with
August.
us.
What's that?
It said in 21 years she'll be in the cauldron with us.
Yep. And
I
I
mean,
will.
that might be sooner than that. So who knows?
Yeah, my daughter was in the cauldron when she was 8, I think.
Okay, I meant whenever like we're buying her a blue hell lemonade.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay, so that was when she was 14. No,
I was kidding. No. Yes.
and
But
Carrie
as
knows
long
how to
if you,
make a blue hell now.
yes, you do now, right? You do know the
I
secret recipe.
do. Yes. I can't tell anyone though.
That's how this works, right? I
Yeah.
know it, but you're not allowed to know it.
Yes.
So, Carrie, at 42, are you still going to be in the Cauldron or the Blue Crew, or are you going to have been so successful in life that you're there while Chris Long is in his 60s and 70s popping champagne with the saber in the Premium Club?
You know, that sounds a lot more fun, I can't lie.
Oh.
And somebody will be pushing me around in the concourse in a little chair. That might be sooner than that, though.
In 21 years, Thad, are you still going to be on your little stool, sandwiched between the ad board and a fan, eating a chicken tender right behind your ear, trying to take pictures of a game?
Man, it's they made it even tighter now. I don't believe it. God.
No.
Last year I was taking popcorn off of fans, uh, now their little thing there of popcorn. But anyway, all right. By the way, Carrie, you were supposed to give me a lot of crap. Remember? You're supposed the fan was it
Oh
Eric?
yes. Yes, Eric.
Yeah, meant to mention that in the last pod, but okay. So my wife was upset when I told her that somebody told you to tell me to, that you need to give me shit. So she's like, "What? Why would they do that?" I'm like, "I don't think they were that serious." And even if they were, it doesn't matter that much. She was offended there for a second. So
Well, I had one guy, he was like, "Are you Carrie?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I listened to your to Shades of Blue." And then a guy next to him said, "I don't, but I think you should give that crap." And I was like, "Okay."
what?
And then
Hey,
Eric agreed with him.
if they don't listen, why would they give me crap? Come on.
I don't know.
Oh well. All right. I appreciate everybody listening. Do the rate, subscribe, review, unless you're that guy that doesn't like me. Actually, yeah, go ahead and do it anyway. That's fine. And we are out.
It's Saturday and the game is on. 10 minutes in, it's 3-0. I'm sipping back an empty can. I don't give a damn if it's 9 a.m. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. station. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.